Poseidon, victory! Push the tower! Release the payload! Now! The walls are breached! Fall back! Fall back!
This used to be an island fortress, surrounded by the sea, walls 150 feet high, and protected by one of the strongest navies in the ancient world. But 7 months later, it was gone. How did Alexander the Great, with no navy and no way across the water, turn the sea itself into a bridge and conquer the impossible? This is how he did it. The year was 332 BC. Alexander had just crushed the Persian armies in Asia Minor. His next goal? Take control of the Mediterranean coast before marching on Egypt and Persia itself. City after city surrendered. Sidon opened its gates. Byblos followed. But when Alexander demanded Tyre's submission, the Tyrians laughed. They lived safely on an island, nearly a kilometer offshore. Their walls soared above the sea. They had one of the strongest navies in the region. The message to Alexander was clear: you can't reach us. But to Alexander, that wasn't a problem. It was a challenge. Where most commanders would have sailed away, Alexander ordered something insane. We'll build a causeway, a bridge, from the mainland to the island. His men thought he was joking, but Alexander's engineers began hauling stones, rubble, and timber from the ruins of an old coastal city, dumping them into the shallow water. Slowly, meter by meter, a road began to rise from the sea. At first, it worked. Soldiers could advance under wooden towers, protected from arrows and rocks. But the closer they got, the deeper the water, and the deadlier the defenders. The Tyrians weren't going to sit and watch. They launched raids from their ships, smashing the mole with rams. Archers fired down from the walls. Every boulder Alexander placed was met with fire and death from above.
Burn them all! Send the jars down! Do not let them reach the walls!
Then came their masterstroke. They packed one of their ships with pitch, sulfur, and tar and set it on fire. Wind at their backs, the Tyrians sent the flaming ship crashing into Alexander's siege towers. The mole went up in flames. Macedonian soldiers jumped into the sea to escape.
This way! Through the waves! Into the water! Quickly! Do not look back!
The causeway? Months of work, destroyed in minutes. It was a humiliating setback. Any other army would have retreated, but Alexander got angry. He realized brute force wouldn't be enough, so he changed the game. If he couldn't beat Tyre on land, he'd beat them at sea. Alexander sent messengers to every Phoenician city he'd already conquered, Sidon, Byblos, Arwad, ordering them to send their ships. Within weeks, he had a fleet of over 200 warships. The same Phoenician sailors who once served Tyre now sailed under Alexander's command. The balance of power shifted overnight. The island fortress was no longer untouchable. It was surrounded. Once again, construction began. This time, Alexander's engineers used massive wooden towers mounted on the causeway, armed with catapults and shields of wet hides to resist fire. Behind them, the mole stretched further, into deeper water, where waves crashed against its edges day and night. Men drowned. Equipment broke. Still, the Macedonians pushed forward. The closer they got, the more ferocious the resistance. Tyrian divers swam underwater, cutting the ropes that held siege engines together. But Alexander adapted. He armored the cables with chains. Every problem they threw at him, he solved with innovation or sheer stubbornness. By midsummer of 332 BC, the sea road was complete. For 7 brutal months, Alexander's men had fought the waves, the wind, and the relentless fire from Tyre's walls. Now the causeway, the impossible bridge across the sea, touched the island itself. Behind it stood the greatest siege engine the ancient world had ever seen. Towering wooden machines, bristling with catapults, armored in wet hides, and crewed by veterans who'd spent their lives in war. The signal horns sounded. Across the water, hundreds of ships moved into position. Phoenician galleys captured from Sidon and Byblos, now flying Macedonian banners. The fleet formed a semicircle around the island, cutting off every escape. From the mainland, siege engines thundered. Stones the size of oxen smashed against Tyre's seawalls, sending shockwaves through the defenders standing atop them. But Tyre's warriors fought like lions. They dropped flaming pitch, hurled javelins, and poured molten bronze onto the approaching towers.
Hurl the pitch! Burn them down! Shields up! We need more water, quickly! Push! With me now! Push! Ready the towers! Push them forward! Fire at will! Clear the wall!
Each wave of attack crashed against their defenses like the sea itself, and still, the Macedonians advanced. Under Alexander's orders, ships carrying siege towers pushed in close to the south wall. Archers and engineers fired upward, while crews below swung heavy rams against the base of the fortifications. Hours turned into days. The summer sun scorched the soldiers in their armor. Salt water and smoke filled the air. Then, a thunderous crack. One of the southern towers of Tyre split open, a gaping hole torn into the wall. Trumpets blared.
To the walls!
The Macedonians surged forward. Alexander himself led the assault, standing on a boarding bridge between 2 ships, shield in hand. Arrows flew around him, striking the water like rain. He was the first across, leaping through the breach with his bodyguard and elite hypaspists right behind him.
Push forward, men! To the inner city! Break their lines! Push them back to the
On the walls, Tyrian defenders met them in savage hand-to-hand combat. Spears shattered, swords rang, shields splintered. For a moment, the outcome hung in balance.
Hold formation! To the wall! Do not yield! Hold the line! Push them back to the sea! Charge! Break their ranks! Push them back! Hold the line for Tyre! Forward for Macedon! The wall is down!
Then, Alexander's marines, attacking from the seaward side, forced a second breach.
For Alexander! Push forward!
Now Tyre was under assault from both land and sea.
Do not let them breach!
The defenders faltered. Macedonian soldiers poured through the openings, swarming into the streets.
Push them back! Hold the gate! Burn it all! Burn it all! Run for your lives! The city falls! Break the line!
The city that had defied the greatest army on earth was collapsing from within.
Take the city! Push them back to the sea! Forward, men! Hold the gates! Do not let them pass!
Fighting raged for hours through the twisting alleys. Tyrian citizens barricaded their homes, priests took refuge in temples, and the last defenders gathered at the sacred temple of Melkart, the city's patron god. But Alexander was unstoppable. His men stormed the temple gates, and the remaining soldiers surrendered. By nightfall, the city that had once seemed invincible was burning.
Move quickly to the ships! Please, no! My family!
8,000 Tyrians lay dead. Another 30,000 were taken as slaves. The surviving leaders were executed for defying the king of Macedon. And Alexander, standing atop the shattered walls, finally looked across the sea he had conquered, not with ships, but with willpower and stone. The Fall of Tyre wasn't just a victory, it was a message. To every ruler who thought Alexander could be stopped by geography, walls, or the sea, he proved otherwise. His army had turned the ocean into solid ground. His engineers had built what no one thought possible. And his reputation became legend. Alexander spared Tyre's temples, but he left the causeway standing. Over the centuries, sand and sediment built up around it, until the island became part of the mainland. The proof of Alexander's impossible victory still exists today. Subscribe to this channel for more stories like this.